Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the very first time here. Welcome back to, I guess, Season 2 of the Crank Gather Season 2 preliminary stage. I'm, of course, your host, Live VIP. With you, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to something a little bit different, to something special. We've been alluding to this for the past couple of days, but yes, we have a Team League Invitational that was organized and hosted by Chijik, and of course, I say organized, hosted by Crank, sponsored by Chijik. Now, if you're curious, we've said this name multiple times before, but Chijik, that this is a streaming platform, kind of like Twitch, but for Korea. It's like it's a competitor to Africa TV. So in Korea, you have Africa TV, you have Chijik, and you have, I think, Kakao Live as well as the three like predominant streaming platforms. So as a result, because Chijik, because they sponsor the event, because they provide the prize money for the event, it does mean that live casting the event has to be on the Chijik platform. It cannot be casted on Twitch or on YouTube or anywhere else live, which is why this is not live cast. I mean, the cast is live, but the games are via replays. This is going to be replay cast. This is less than 24 hours. It's been less than 24 hours since the events took place. Now we're here live with the replays to catch up on what has been going on in said Team League. Let's go, baby, let's go. So up first, as you can see, we have BASILISK versus Streamerzone. We have our lineups. Now when it comes to the format of the tournament, 6 teams have been invited. We have BASILISK, we have Streamerzone, we have Team Liquid, we have Team Vitality, and we also have Team Falcons and Shopify Rebellion. So six teams in total enter the ring. Initially, we do have our preliminary stage. Basically, these are seeding matches. The winner of these matches are going to be advancing on into the playoffs. The losers get knocked down into a group stage where they have to face off to be able to have a chance at the playoffs. So they have a second life, second chance. So basically, in today's broadcast, none of these teams are going to be eliminated yet. And this is going to be a week-long tournament. Week-long, I think like 5 or 6 days of Team League. Let's go, baby, let's go. 5 or 6 days of Crank Gather Season 2. Let's go. First things first, as we do head on over here towards our brackets, exclamation, I mean, there's no bracket command, unfortunately, but bam, we do have the lineups here. And what is the most exciting about this invitational, about this Team League, is that, one, it is not WTL format. WTL format was best of 2s. These are best of 1s or Pro League format, but old school Pro League, because if you look at these lineups, you should be noticing something. You should be noticing something a little bit different here. So up first, we have BASILISK versus Streamerzone. We're going to be having Serral. Serral's going to be facing off against Jumy in the first round. So Serral versus Jumy in a ZVP, followed by Trigger versus Nightmare in a PvP. Again, these are best of 1s. We then have 2v2. If you remember, 2v2 was a big part of Brood War Pro League, but it's something that never really caught on in SC2, unfortunately. I would say the best that we had was, if you recall, the StarCraft Clan Wars, where 2v2 was a part of that event, so that Total Biscuit was hosting and organizing. They did have their 2v2 portion, and 2v2 outside of that never really had any big representation. I will say that in recent times that has changed. In the past year, if not slightly more than that, we have had more focus and more attention on team games and 2v2 tournaments. Big thanks to Uthermal, big thanks to Wardy as well for hosting these events, and partially also thanks to Team Liquid. TL specifically. TL, they've been organizing the Team Liquid map contest maps, which has been updating and revitalizing the maps for the team game rotations for 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4. So those three things in conjunction with Wardy also hosting those monthly events last year, and with Uthermal running his 2v2 league, I mean, we've seen a resurgence and a lot more interest in 2v2. This late into the lifespan of StarCraft 2, unfortunately, it's something that could have been worked on and could have been given attention to many years ago. But regardless, better late than never, and really cool to see those initiatives kind of spark that interest, spark that growth, to the point where now we're going to be featuring 2v2 in this invitational as well. Really cool to see. So I can't wait to get into that. It is going to be Serral and Trigger versus SOS and Nightmare. If you know anything about the 2v2 circuit, you will know that both Serral and Trigger are very well versed in 2v2. They are some of the best 2v2 players in the world. The best 2v2 players would be Spirit and MaxMax. Like Spirit and MaxMax, they're the best duo. Like you don't get better than them. They have named and ranked themselves as the #1, as the best duo in the entire world in StarCraft 2v2. Unfortunately, they are not part of any of the teams competing in this event, but Serral and Trigger, they're also very well versed. And at the end, we do have Reynor versus Gerald. Now, as a reminder, this is a best of 5. Overall, as you can see, each series, each best of 1 gives 1 point. So this is in total a best of 5. We do have the ace match, if need be, on 10,000 feet, where each team will be able to field their ace player if need be. Ahead of that, though, every match is going to be played out in the these initial 4 matches. These initial 4 matches, every match will be played. So even if it's like a 3-0 in favor of Streamerzone, Reynor and Gerald, they will still play their match. They'll still play out their match, even if it's a 3-0, and even if BASILISK cannot win, just because scores do still matter when it comes to seeding, when it comes to overall performance. So overall, the games are going to be played. Obviously, the ace match won't be played unless necessary to be able to determine the victor of the series. Here tonight, we're going to be featuring 3 matches. It's going to be BASILISK versus Streamerzone. We then have Team Liquid versus Shopify Rebellion, and then we have Team Vitality versus Team Falcons. Here we go. Now, coming into this, amongst all the teams, I will say the Streamerzone is one of the weaker teams. They do have a decent lineup, don't get me wrong. You know, Nightmare, SOS, Jumy, Gerald, like they are strong players in their own right, but I feel like the other teams, they feature definitely some star players and some high caliber players, like your Serrals, your Reynors, your Marus, your Bjorns. So it's gonna be a tough ask here for Streamerzone. Best of luck as they do step to the plate against BASILISK in the first preliminary stage. It's a brutal first round match. Oh boy, I wish him the best. I do know that in the lead up to this series, Jumy, he was memeing in his Discord server, and I think he posted the gif of Serral sweeping up trash. Jumy's like, I'm ready. I was like, God damn it, Jumy. God, have some faith, Bobby. Have some faith. I want to believe, Bobby. I want to believe. Aye. The other really exciting thing about this event is the map pool. The map pool does feature many TLMC21 maps. So you can see here, game 1 is going to be on Mothership, game 2 is going to be on Dream and Scars, game 3 is going to be on Gem Garden, followed by the Old Republic and 10,000 feet. These are all TLMs, or these are new, TLMC21 maps. So bear that in mind. These are all going to be new maps here, not your regular standard ladder maps. A lot of these maps we have already featured, actually, bear that in mind. Going to be featuring them again. But again, up first we do have Serral and Jumy. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be a Mothership, and remember, best of 1. And hey, in this kind of best of 1 format, upsets can happen. They have happened in WTL before. We could even see them happening here as well. 1 game is all you need. As spawning in the bottom side of Mothership, we do have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamerzone. It is Jumy. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Zerg player. We have the red Zerg player himself. It is for BASILISK. It is Serral from the land of Finland. Beautiful. Here we go. And again, welcome to Mothership. Mothership is a 3-player spawn map. If you've been watching the Cranky Ducklings, you would know that we've been covering this many times, as this is part of our standard ladder map pool. Sorry, standard tournament map pool. So we do feature this map quite often. It's very large, very wide. Serral does open pool first. Okay, very safe opener here out of Serral. Interesting. And I'm sure maybe he was assuming that Jumy would try to cheese him out. Jumy instead is going Nexus first. Jesus. So Nexus first out of Jumy, hyper greed. Meanwhile, Serral opening up pool first, being very safe. Okay. So big variance here when it comes to the openers. It does make sense just because Serral, of course, is looking for Jumy's spawn location. Remember, this is a 3-player spawn map. We do head on over the Chijik logo. There we go. As the Overlord is looking for Jumy, and we'll find him almost immediately. So Jumy, he will be found. Again, Jumy's just being hyper greedy. And Serral is going for a delayed gas. So delayed gas here will pull hatch into a later gas geyser. So it's going to be a delay on link speed and a delay on tech in general here. Oh, as Jumy does follow with his 2 gates. I mean, again, it's still like later gateways here, so it's going to try to make up for that. Overlord will scout, Overlord will confirm the location and also get eyes on the timing of said Nexus. I'm sure he did notice that the gateway is finishing up a little bit later. Yep, and now he sees that the Nexus is almost done. So Serral is fully aware. He is fully aware. And from here, I'll be honest, we haven't had the luxury of casting many Zerg matchups. I mean, again, if you know anything about StarCraft over the past couple of weeks, if not past couple of months, Zerg matchups are quite rare. They're quite rare nowadays. We're lucky if we even get to cast one ZVX matchup, so I don't think I've actually casted a Zerg matchup on Mothership, is what I was getting at. Oh, this probe is barely saved. Serral, he wants it. Oh, he wants the probe, he will not get it. Probe does survive. Serral sharking around. Going back in. Again, he wants that worker. He wants it. But again, we haven't covered any Zerg matchups on Mothership, so I'm curious to see how Serral will adapt. Again, this is a bit of a larger map, but it's not the most defensive map, so I do think that it's going to be more difficult for Jumy to turtle up and to get into a longer mid to late game. So instead, we're going for a faster tech. He shows the Stargate, cancels the Stargate, going for a Twilight Council, and Jumy's being hyper aggressive here, rushing the Twilight Council. This could be a getting into Glaive Adepts, or we could go into an early charge timing. Regardless, hyper aggression out of Jumy. And again, Serral being fed some false information with that fake Stargate. Let's go. Este Jumy. Okay. Do you have the backup Overlord Scout going into the main? Overlord making its way in. Gateways are being turned down. We're not pulling out of gas. Interesting. So he's not pulling out. We are going to Glaives. The fact that he hasn't pulled out that he's going to Glaives could be indicative here of extra gateways. We have 4 currently. We could go up to 6. Yep, speaking of, there we go. Additional gateways, that's a 5th and a 6th gateway. So 2 gas saturation can facilitate 4 6-gate Glaive Adepts. Any more than that and you just won't have the gas to produce. And this is very committed on 2 bases. Let's go. Borderline all in. Jumy, this has to kill, otherwise it has to deal crippling damage. Meanwhile, Serral getting a safety Roach Warren. He dipped it. Yeah, he saw a gateway. He saw that the Stargate was cancelled. He knows. Under attack. Like, that's what's important. He didn't confirm the Twilight Council, but he saw held up. The Stargate was meant to be here, right? So he rechecked the Stargate location. Ooh, Glaive Adepts plus Dark Shrine. Okay. Looking a little sus. Going for both, but doubling down. Overlord has confirmed the Twilight Council, does see it researching. Overlord may even see the Dark Shrine itself. Ooh, barely not. Yeah, barely does. My apologies. Yeah, barely does scout. Does spot the Dark Shrine. Adepts have arrived, and Serral, he's not quite ready to wall off. Does have the Sim City, but does have the army. Yeah, Queens to move forward. We surround the Adepts. The Biles, they do connect. As they connect Queens, they're left alone. Can we focus any of them down? Let's transfuse, keeps both Queens alive. So gets another transfuse off. That lands another transfuse. Jumy's still trying to break through. Behind this, I believe there is a Sport. The natural. Power connects. And at this point, are we shading? Not quite. It doesn't quite shade in. Meanwhile, here there is a Sport in the main base, a Sport outside of the natural as well. No detection at the 3rd base, but the Sport can always uproot. Can always waddle over. Yeah, Sport's pushing forward. Jumy, can he snipe the expansion? I mean, the base is a little bit low already. There we go, 2 more swipes. Oh no, the Biles! Oh my god. No, one shot away. Automas, he was so close. 4 HP hatchery. Do we commit to the shade? Do we just shade like 2 Adepts in to focus it down? He can't let it live. Jumy, he was premature, Babby. He was premature. Okay, the Archon should be enough. Yeah, oh, that's a high queen count though. The Archons, they should be able to tank shots, get in close enough, kill the base, and then be picked up. I say that there are transfuse available. Dep's getting caught out. Here come the Archons, but again, Serral, he does have a transfuse. Up! Up! Oh my god, no transfuse. Base goes down. Yeah, barely did miss it. Okay. Kills the expansion. Adepts, they get into the natural. They get a couple of drone kills, but this is still not good enough. As you can see, Jumy's still on 2 bases, and Serral, as time goes on, it's been better and better for the Zerg players. He's been building up a larger army. He is now trying to re-expand, trying to re-drone. Losing the 3rd base does slow Serral down at least. But is that really enough? Alright, gets a queen. Does get one of the queens. From here, Jumy pulls away. And Jumy's just building up towards a second all-in, this time with Immortals behind it. Now, thankfully, Jumy, I believe he didn't lose... he lost 12 Adepts. If he didn't lose as many Adepts, then this follow-up all-in would have a little more teeth to it, of course. I'm a little bit concerned that he let out too much. He lost too much. 12 Adepts, that's a lot of supply to bleed out early on. Overlord. Oh, we'll lose an Archon. That is not worth it. Archon goes down. Soon it's going to be go time. Yeah, we're just waiting for +1. +1 is almost complete. Oh. He is almost ready. He's pushing. He's committing across the map. Oh, there's nothing back at home. Gateways are under fire. Jumy, it's all or nothing. Send it, baby, send it. Oh my god, things they break into the natural as a defensive DT. At the same time, Borrow is done. Borrow is complete. Files, they graze the army. Immortals, they're getting us off the roaches. A lot of roaches are going down, okay. Takes out a line of roaches. Meanwhile, across the map, 20 probes going down, and Jumy, he will lose everything. He will lose the economy. And he's trading decently against the army, but oh god, still takes some bounce to the face. Not like this, and he's running out of buffer. Yeah, slowly over time, he's running out of buffer. He needs more adepts, he needs more warp-ins, but unfortunately, he has no economy. He can't afford it. Yeah, he can't afford the warp-ins. The boys are being pulled, and Serral, he will clean this up. Shuts down the adepts. The Immortals, Jumy is migrating his heart out. Este Jumy. Down to 4 Immortals. Oof. And 1 Immortal goes down to 3. 3 Immortals left, 2 Immortals remaining. And GG, well played. And Serral, he will take game number 1. He'll take a lead for his team. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Serral, he will take game number 1. Again, Serral, he was able to scout, and he was being fed some false information, but he played it safe anyway, getting a safety roach horn, and more importantly, he went for the rescout. He confirmed, hold up, the Stargate was missing. The Stargate was missing. The Stargate was cancelled. So he was able to confirm that it was a more aggressive build, and he was able to get ready back at home. He couldn't really wall up and wall off his natural, but he had plenty of lings, plenty of roaches, more importantly, plenty to work with back at home. He did end up losing his base, that is true, but he killed 12 adepts. He killed 12 adepts for it, and an Archon as well, so he was able to trade well enough, and in the end, GG. Jumy just wasn't able to cripple him hard enough with a said build, with said timing, and Serral takes a lead. Does take a lead, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. Up next, who does rise to the challenge here? It is going to be Trigger. Trigger is going to be representing Basilisk, and he will be facing off against none other than another Protoss. I would say the ace player for Streamerzone. This is the best chance. This is the best chance for Streamerzone to bounce back in this series. It's going to be a PvP between Trigger and Nightmare. Let's go. Let us go. So we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Dream and Scars, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamerzone. It is Nightmare. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player representing BASILISK from Atlantic Canada. It is a Trigger. We go. So get into game number 2, and welcome one all to Dream and Scars. This is a quote-unquote 4-player map. Basically, you can either spawn into this spawn location, or you can actually spawn in bottom left and top right instead. So you have different spawn locations available to you, but it's always cross spawn. Like, it's always diagonal spawn, I should say. Regardless of spawn location. Depending on where you spawn in, the map does change, the map does morph. Here we have a pocket natural. We have a pocket natural base available to both Trigger and Nightmare. When it comes to the third base option, it is a little more open, a little more exposed. You can see here it's accessible from the right, accessible from the left, and the area outside of the natural base, straight outside the natural, outside the main, is also open as well. So taking your third base and taking your fourth base, I would say, is more difficult on this spawn location. Basically, the way that they phrase it is you have Dream spawn and you have Scar spawn instead. Here I'd say I think it's Scar spawn, as opposed to the more secure other base location, I would argue. Unfortunately, even though I rated, I want to say that I gave this map some decent rating. I think I gave it a 3, maybe a 4, at least a 3. I gave this map at least a 3, and unfortunately didn't quite make it through the voting process from the filtering process. Did not make it into the top 16. So unfortunately this was not an option to vote on for the TLNC 21. So a bit of a feels bad, man. Personally, I would say that this map was better than some of the maps that made it into the top 16. So it is unfortunate. This map didn't get a chance to make it through. Smurge, man, smurge. Meanwhile, Stargate. Okay, so we did have an economic opener here at a Trigger, opening up Stargate, faster Nexus. Likewise, Nightmare going for something similar, also a more economic start. But the tech of choice has yet to be committed into here for Nightmare. We'll see where he goes, we'll see where he leads us. If he goes into extra gateways, Twilight Council, even a proxy. Where are we headed? There we go, Twilight Council in the main. Does so far fully wall off on 2 bases. Oracle production has begun. Nightmare, he was able to confirm the Stargate. Nightmare is aware. Nightmare, he does know. And pokes back in. Confirms it is, of course, the Oracle. Confirm. As Trigger's moving out, but Nightmare, he should be ready for this. He's got 2 Stalkers here at the natural at the same time in the main base. I keep saying natural. In the main base, we have 2 Stalkers in position at the natural. Shield battery is done, so this Oracle shouldn't achieve too much damage here. It gets maybe 1. Yeah, 1 probe goes down. Ooh, it doesn't get 2. And is forced out. So far, clean defense here from Nightmare. Just losing 1 probe. Oh, did I speak too soon? Too soon? Oh. Oracle dips in, denies some mining, but does not get a worker. Will sustain a bit of hull damage. Behind this, we do have extra gateways on the way, and Trigger is expanding, taking his 3rd. For the time being, we're keeping an eye open for the gateway count. We do have a 3-gate setup here, sorry, a 4-gate setup out of Nightmare, so going into 4-gate Blink Stalker. Meanwhile, Trigger, he is stuck with 2 gateways, getting a 3rd one himself. He's slowly behind when it comes to production, has a faster expansion, but another reason for this is because of the initial Stargate. So Trigger, he is a little bit behind when it comes to his tech, when it comes to his Stalker production, and Nightmare is doubling down, getting up to 6 gateways. So he's building up to 6 gates. Claiming his own third, so he's not going for an all-in. High gate count nonetheless. Oh. Goes zone away. Likewise, Nightmare setting up the proxy. How many gates does he have? I believe it's 6, right? Getting up to 7, so 7 gates set up here out of Nightmare. He can soon move out across the map, and he's going to have a lot of Stalkers to work with. Trigger, he did spot the proxy. Nightmare's on the way. And Nightmare, he does have the Stalker lead. Trigger, he's in danger. Oh, very nice. Stasis goes off. Nightmare doesn't notice. Trigger, now he can dive on this army. He can even blink forward. There we go. Let's go. Blinks in. Blinks on the army. Stalker's going to be going down. A very nice fight here for Trigger, all things considered. But is it enough? Here come reinforcements. Trigger, he keeps on chasing. Where the reinforcements, Stasis runs out. With the Stasis wrap running out, Trigger, he can no longer fight. Yeah, he has to get out of here, force a recall. But again, this is the best that Trigger could hope for. As Trigger, he did trade out, and he had a more efficient trade. Lost 7 Stalkers, killed 9. Despite that, Nightmare still has the advantage. Still has more Stalkers. Behind us, we have 3 shield batteries. We got 3 batteries. We got the Immortal. Trigger, he's holding. Ideally, he wants to bait the army to blink in. Can he bait the army? Oracle does go down, the Immortal pulls away. The Immortal's very low. 1 more volley will be enough. But now we're up to 2 Immortals, okay. Yeah, second Immortal has arrived, and Nightmare, it looks like he's missed his window. He has missed his timing. Nightmare, he did cut workers to make this happen. Trigger still setting up, throwing down more shield batteries. Oh, the shield batteries. Okay, he's holding on. Oh. Catching up with the Adepts. Adepts are cleaned up. And Trigger, over time, he's getting further ahead. Here, he's just building up a greater army. He's maintaining the Immortals. Even the first one never went down. Charge is on the way. Forge and +1 is on the way. Nightmare behind this, I believe he never got a Forge. Yeah, no Forge. No Forge in sight. Nightmare, who was hoping to end the game. Ooh, nice backstab. Trigger, he moves out. As he moves out, Nightmare moves in. Oh, not quite. Send it back. Get in there. Does it the natural, and we go for the base trade. Yeah, we are. Let's go. We have the defensive warp in, and Trigger, he commits across the map. He's going for the natural. There are some charges to defend, though. It's a lot of zealots. Nice blink control. Yeah, Trigger blinks away. Hasn't lost a Stalker yet. We'll lose 1. 1 Stalker goes down. The Immortals are exposed. A bit of miscontrol with the Warp Prism. Does not save that first Immortal. And back at home, Trigger, he's defending. Trigger with the Warpins. He barely had enough. Okay. Trigger, he held on. Oh, we'll lose the Warp Prism. And Trigger's being overwhelmed. The Zealots take it on top of the Immortals. And Nightmare, he will take the fight. Cleans up all the Immortals, zones away the Stalkers. These charges, they just add so much more complexity to the army. They're so efficient against Mass Stalker. With that, Nightmare, he holds. He holds, he defends, he resets the Immortal army. Trigger on the chase. And as time goes on, Trigger, he now has +1. +1 is finishing up in a couple of seconds. We're rebuilding those Immortals. I still want to give the edge to Trigger, but Nightmare, he's hanging there. He's hanging in there. +2 begins for Trigger. Nightmare still on 0-0. Still with 0 upgrades. Mirror Trigger, he can't fight head on, there are just too many zealots. He's got some of his own. Okay. Does tank. Tanks nicely. Nightmare the first to expand, getting a 4th base up and running. Trigger, he has yet to do so. Oh, there's like a little... he has to wait for the sheep to move. Or the ram. Ah. So late 4th base here by Trigger, but a very nice run by Nightmare. Oh no! Oh. Yeah, runs into the army. Still doesn't lose too much at least. Gets 9 probes. Nicely done. Trigger gets 9 workers. The main army does move in. Again, Trigger, does he have enough? He's doing more Stalkers. He has almost equivalent Zealot counts. Archons are out of position. Trigger initially with a better fight. Has to move further in. Some of his army just not quite attacking. Now getting on top of the Archons. Okay, nice control. Nightmare hiding back. Saves the Archons. And with good enough control, Nightmare can maybe hold on, but we just keep reinforcing. Yeah, more Zealots are trickling in, and Trigger, he will break through. He will break the expansion, and from here he will just break Nightmare. The final Archon falls. And again, as we mentioned, Nightmare, you can argue, I would argue that Nightmare is the ace player for Streamerzone, and he had to fight back here. And now GG gets called, and Trigger, he will extend the lead for Basilisk 2-0. GG. Whew, GG, well played. I mean, again, Nightmare, he had momentum, he had the opportunity, he was hyper aggressive on his initial 7 gateways. He went for a proxy 7th gateway, went across the map, but he barely couldn't break the 3rd base of Trigger. Remember, by the time that Nightmare pushed, Trigger, he had 3 shield batteries. He had 3 shield batteries, and he had an Immortal. I should say that it wasn't when he pushed, it was actually the time that Trigger bought. If you remember, Trigger, he was able to pop off with a massive stasis. Stasis trap went off in the center of the map, and if you remember, Trigger, he actually fought the army ahead of time, blinked aggressively into Nightmare to trade and to buy as much time as possible to allow for the shield batteries to finish and to allow for the first Immortal to arrive as well. So it was a really crucial stasis trap, a really crucial engage that Trigger was able to take ahead of time, which allowed him to defend his 3rd base, to survive, and then to slowly outscale his opponent. Remember, Nightmare, he never got a Forge. He never got a Forge, never got any upgrades. He never planned on, because he never intended for the game to last that long. GG. GG, well played. Nightmare's aggression fails, and with that, Basilisk, they are looking very secure here so far in this initial match. And I'm getting more and more concerned for Streamerzone. Up next, you know what time it is? It's 2v2 time. It's time for the 2v2s, baby. Let's go, let's go. As we are getting things ready here, we do have our duos setting up. It is going to be Serral and a Trigger going up against Nightmare and SOS. Oh boy. Now, I mentioned this before, the Basilisk boys, specifically Serral and Trigger, they have a lot of experience in 2v2. We've casted many of their matches, but they wouldn't really play together. If you remember, funnily enough, they wouldn't really have a Basilisk team. Trigger would often play with Clem. Trigger and Clem, they'd play very often together. They were the duo, and you can definitely make an argument that Trigger and Clem are the 2nd best 2v2 team in the world. Meanwhile, Serral, who would he play with? Serral, he'd play with Zugelang. Zugelang, the other Finnish Zerg player, so fellow Finnish Zerg, and he'd often play either a double Zerg, or Serral would off-race as Protoss. True, he would often off-race as Protoss as well, and he was actually looking quite good and quite powerful with his Protoss. Here, with Trigger, he doesn't have to off-race. Mirrored kind of teams are typically not ideal. They don't really complement each other too well, referring to double Zerg or double Protoss. So here Serral will most likely stick with his main race, but again, Serral and Trigger have a lot more experience in 2v2, Nightmare and SOS less so. For whatever reason, the Koreans never really got into it. I mean, partly because of the time zone, right? The time zones and the start times for Uthermal's tournaments were really rough, really late. I think the only 2v2 teams that we ever got was Bjorn and Percival. I think they played together as duo Terrans, and Ryung and Gumiho. They also played as double Terrans as well. So I think those were the only Koreans that ever competed in the 2v2 circuit outside of like Honmono, I guess like Honmono and I think he played with 3 points. No, Honmono he played like a couple of times here and there as well. So we'll see how Nightmare and SOS do as we are jumping into our next game. And again, the pressure is on. If we want to go to the ace match, then Nightmare and SOS, they got to ramp it up. They got to turn it on here and now in the 2v2 format. Let's go. Let us go. We're spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gem Garden, one of the new TLMC maps. We have our Basilisk duo. We have the red Zerg player from land of Finland. We have Serral. We have Trigger. Together, we have Basilisk. That's not Streamerzone. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have their opponents. We have the double Protoss duo. We have Nightmare. We have SOS. We have Streamerzone. Yeah, the fanfare is a little bit broken for 2v2, but it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So I'll set up the Serral, Trigger, Nightmare, and SOS. Okay. I do this. Beautiful. Sorry, I was just setting up the title. But here we go. We're getting into our next setup here. We're getting into our 2v2s. First things first, we do welcome to Gem Garden. Fun fact, because this is one of the new TLMC maps, if I didn't make that clear, this map is not a part of the ladder. This is one of the new maps that's going to be added to the 2v2 ladder instead. And I'm very unfamiliar. I'm very unfamiliar with this map. We do have the double pylon block. Okay, Esther Trigger being cheeky. Throws down a pylon at both expansion locations, delaying quite heavily here. As we're trying to wall up on the top side. A little bit, yeah, it shows the inexperience. Shows a bit of an experience here. So I mean, kind of, we're fully walling off here this ramp. The ramp leads into rocks and leads into mineral patches. Not the most accessible area, but you could definitely argue, I mean, nah, it's too soon. I mean, again, it takes 7 minutes. It takes 7 minutes for these streamers to expire. So regardless of what we're setting up, maybe just a little bit too distracted from getting ready here for the initial expand and making the initial gateway unit. So you're fully rolling off. Big delay on the expansions. Serral as a result can freely expand. A Trigger should be able to do so as well. We have a take of choice. We do see SOS going for a Stargate opener. Yo, the cyber block. Cyber block out of Trigger. Again, just keeping both opponents on one base. And again, behind this, Trigger should soon be expanding as well. Serral even just rushing into a third. Okay. Serral pulls out of gas, takes a faster third base. Serral is looking very comfortable. So a couple of things are happening here. Trigger, he's sacrificing his own economy. Like Trigger, he himself is slowing down a little bit as he still has no expansion, but he's bringing down his opponents with him, right? He's containing both opponents, both Nightmare and SOS, with 2 more cyber block. Another cyber core gets thrown down. And again, it's a big delay. And Trigger, he's like sacrificing himself so that Serral is as comfortable as possible. Serral, he's getting like the like VIP treatment right now. It's one of those things where in a duo like this, you can have one player that focuses on aggression and they pay the price for it, and the other player is just hyper greedy behind it. So Trigger's like, hey, you know what, Pappy, just drone up, Pappy. I got you. I'll take care of you. So Serral, he's freely droning up, he's freely saturating, getting some spores. We do see a Dark Shrine for Nightmare. Interesting. Again, SOS did open up Stargate. It did open up, actually, second Stargate, Mass Phoenix. Okay. Mass Phoenix out of SOS. Now, I believe that this is going to be played on the vanilla base game of 2v2 instead of the modded version that was played during Euthermal Circuit. Now, what does that mean? If you remember, in Euthermal Circuit, they did extend the time that you could... They extended the time that you couldn't trade resources with your opponent for balancing purposes. They found that in 2v2, it was very, very meta to feed a Protoss player a lot of resources for them to get into triple Stargate Mass Phoenix production, and it was a little bit imbalanced. Like Mass Phoenix in 2v2, like it was brutal. So in the end, they did make the decision to create a mod to be able to increase the time it takes for players to finally start trading resources to allow for something like that to happen. I believe this is going to be in the base game, so that is available here. If we so chose to, Nightmare can start feeding SOS. If they so chose to. Meanwhile, DTs are moving out. Going to be fanning out across the map. Both players finally do expand. And yeah, detections in position. DTs, they do get past the Ducklings though. Yeah, they do barely slip past. That should not have happened. A bit of miscontrol there by Serral, as he was unable to hold position. Oh, and probes are going down. And again, this should not have happened. Zero detection. Oh, thank God. One DT goes down. Shout out to the MVP Spore. Shout out to Serral for repositioning in time. So this could have been so much worse, but I mean, damage is still being done. Yeah, Trigger's being bullied here. But once again, that's what's important. It's Trigger that's taking damage. It's Trigger that's being bullied. It's Serral that is left untouched and still on a healthy tree-based economy. I mean, it happens in 2v2, right? Where one player gets targeted more than the other. It's like Trigger is Serral's tank. He's like, I'll take it for you. True. As SOS does hit the gas geysers here of Serral. Okay, gets 3 drones. 3 drones do go down. We do see a Nightmare reinforcing with now Mass Stalker. So we have Blink Stalker out of Nightmare and Mass Phoenix out of SOS. Yeah, proxy pylons on the way. We're going to commit. Yeah, we're committing here on 2 bases. SOS does expand, does get a 3rd, but Nightmare is going to be able to reinforce across the map. Once again, more probes going to be going down. And brutal damage. Now the question becomes, Serral, can he do this on his own, or can he support Trigger? Ling Hydra's on the way for Serral. Still in production. Ooh, stasis goes off. Brutal stasis. Let's try to lay the army. Hydra's slowly amassing. It's still going to be a tough hold. Spore does move forward. They're trying to make a stand. Stasis trap runs out. Gets a Stalker. So far, that's 3 Stalkers going down. Serral's 4th base is up, just for Larva. Focusing Ling Hydra. We have the Hive on the way as well, so tech-wise, Serral's being a little bit greedy here. Getting into Hive, but looks like they're defended. Okay. Serral and Trigger, they have held on. You can see that Serral, he had to kill that tumor because I believe Trigger plans on expanding here. For those that are unaware, in 2v2, if your partner is Zerg, you cannot actually build on that creep. You cannot build on the creep. That is the case in co-op. So if you play co-op... Oh, also, my apologies, I should I was so engrossed that I forgot to fix up the scoreline. 4th base goes down, nice pickup. But in co-op, you can build on creep. In 2v2 and in team games in general, you cannot. Unless you're a Zerg yourself, of course. So that's why Serral killed his own tumor, because it looks like Trigger does plan on expanding here. Oh, never mind. Trigger, he opens up the top side. Okay. So a little bit of miscommunication. Oh, nice catch. Oh, late reaction. Late reactions here by SOS. He loses almost every single Phoenix. Ay, ay, ay. That was brutal. This is not quite working. Never mind. Looks like the battle report does not work in 2v2. That was what, like 5-6 pieces getting caught out. Here comes Serral again. You can see Serral, he's at 160 supply. And this is all because Trigger has been the punching bag, right? It's been the tank. Trap goes up, Colossus have arrived. Is that going to be enough though? Disruptor as well. Yeah, and they can't move in. They cannot push into this. And right now, so they do hold. I mean, this is a brutal choke point, a brutal ramp. Pushing up, it is going to be so difficult. And BASILISK, they pull away. Do pull away. Streamerzone, they're able to both expand. Third base is getting up and running. Jesus, now we built up to 4 Colossus. Without Vipers, we don't have to worry about it. We have Vipers. I was gonna say, without Vipers, I mean, it's gonna be so difficult to break this, but there we go. 2 abductions, nice yoinks. Blinks in. Nova does not connect. And Nova's a crazy army. Another abduction. Gets the 3rd Colossus. There's 1 Colossus remaining. And the 3rd Colossus, the final Colossus, is barely gonna go down. And with that, BASILISK is snowballing out of control. They're chasing him down. Nightmare, he has to pull out. He has to get out of here. Pulls out, pulls away. Diving on the final Colossi. And with that, Serral and Trigger, they've done it. They have done it. They break the main army. Colossus count was reset. Serral, he does rotate over towards the right-hand side, going for the 3rd bases. Just ensuring they have no economy. And again, Serral, he was so comfortable this game. GG gets called, and with that, Serral, Trigger, BASILISK, they will claim the series 3-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, this is one of those games where afterwards, Serral, he's like, oh, that was great, that was easy. And then you pan over to Trigger, and he's like battered and bruised. He's got like scratches on his face. He's like, yeah, that was great. As again, Trigger, he was taking his own beating as well, but as we mentioned, like, he was also kind of keeping and bringing Nightmare and SOS down to his level as well, while Serral was being left alone. While he was being left alone, while he was building up into Hive Tech, into Ling, Hydra, Lurker, Viper. He was able to reach his final form. We did see that both SOS and Nightmare, they tried to end it early. Their goal there was, of course, to push on 2 bases and to break early on, but alas, we saw that Serral and Trigger, they were able to barely hold on themselves. Shattered the stasis traps, that were also actually helping, just to wall up and just to buy some time, buy enough time for more Hydras for that defense to be successful to pop off. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations, BASILISK, they will claim the series, but as I mentioned before, they will claim the series, but we will still play out that final game. It is still going to be played out. And that is going to be a best of one between who? Between Reynor and Gerald. There's a little bit less on the line here, but it's still for seeding purposes and still for overall score lines. So there's still 1 best of 1 remaining. Let's go. And again, it was going to be difficult for any team to go up against BASILISK. They are one of the stronger teams out there. And here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into the next game here in Spawning. The final game of this series, actually, in Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic. We have the Italian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing BASILISK. It is Reynor. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, here of the Old Republic, we have the Polish Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Streamerzone. It is Gerald. Go. Because we're getting into our next game, into that final best of 1. For now, welcome to the Old Republic. Again, this should be a familiar map too. We have been featuring this map a couple of times, especially in PvTs. Once again, though, we have not actually seen a Zerg player on the Old Republic, so happy to see Reynor taking part and taking place on this map. For those of you curious, this is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Very large map, long rush distance by ground. The 3-base setup is very secure. The 4th base is a lot more exposed. Whether it's the low ground 4th base or the base on the right hand side, it's a lot further away, a lot of angles of attack, very wide, very open, very accessible, and I would say that it is difficult for a Protoss player to turtle on 4 bases on this map. So I do favor Reynor coming into this, but we'll see how Gerald will adjust his approach. Again, your 3-base setup here is pretty secure. It's the 4th base that's going to be the big issue. For now, gate expands. Gate expand out of Gerald. Go as we are going to be setting up. We do see Reynor again forcing the unnatural natural here at the triangular 3rd location. We'll see if Gerald can try to punish this in some way. The pylon gets thrown down and is in position for a Stargate. Typically, if you want to hide some tech, this pylon will be thrown down further back behind the base or further back towards the right hand side. Because it's close to the edge, more indicative here that we're not really concerned with hiding the tech. So Stargate has been thrown down, opening up Oracle into a 3rd base. So standard play out of Gerald. Go. Serral 10-minute no rush. I mean, again, he was able to get away with it. Looking very comfortable in the last game. Poking in. But also shout to Trigger because again he was able to disrupt and really throw a wrench in the works in the builds for both Nightmare and SOS. Again, they were stuck on 1 base for so long. This feels crazy. I'm sure that also impacted the strength of their 2-base play. What is this, some sort of teams tournament with 2v2 on 1v1? Yes, this is an invitational. This is a team league invitational. This is Basilisk versus Streamerzone. Basilisk versus Streamerzone. Basilisk, they've already won the series. They've already won the series overall because it's a best of 5. But this final game will still be played out regardless. Which I do appreciate. Here we do have the defensive shield battery. We do have Adept setting up back at home. Gerald, he will actually keep his oracles at home as well. So it's going to be delayed harassment here. Reynor, he has more time to get comfortable. We do have the Forged Twilight Council follow-up. Looking normal, looking like +1 and Blink. It's a team best of 5, including 1 2v2. Yes, yes. If you weren't here for the beginning of the broadcast, as we were trying to emphasize, this is Pro League format. Pro League format, not all kill and not WTL. So what that means is that ahead of time, lineups are revealed. Players that have some time to prepare as well for the matches. They do have some time to prepare, and one of those matches is a 2v2 match, just like old school Pro League. I think that's why people want to see the bracket. Well, I mean, we showed the initial matches earlier, but we'll be showing them off afterwards. After now, Lings are going to be deflected. Again, Gerald, he's being very defensive. Unfortunately, this means that Reynor, he's free to drone up quite heavily here. Getting to 3-base saturation, getting his 4th base, expanding towards Gerald makes sense to spread more creep faster across the map. We have the earlier Eva chamber here. That's after the Roach Warren, so safe play at a Reynor. He was a little bit concerned about what Gerald was up to, so he'll play it safe. She's out later on. They're going to be best of 9s and best of 13s. Sure, that's nothing that we have to be concerned with here. And yeah, that doesn't. Not something we need to be concerned about. Oh, okay, Reynor. You have my attention. Now, because it's a later Evo Chamber, I assumed it was going to be +1 range into Hydras. We are being cheeky, +1 melee, only a safety Roach Horn, and we're going into Muta play. Okay, Esther, Reynor, let's go. Let us go. 2v2 counts as 2 matches? No, counts as 1. Counts as 1. Wouldn't make sense for it to ever count as 2. Yeah, so from here, Gerald, he's taking up in towards Skytoss. Fleet Beacon is on the way. Getting to a Fleet Beacon, rushing into Skytoss. And Reynor, I believe his mutas have hit the field. Now, the scary thing here is that Gerald, he has done nothing across the map. He has scouted. Like, that's it. Like, he's like barely dipped his toes in. He is in the dark. Mutas are about to hit the field. We do have a cannon at the natural at least, but nothing set up in the main, nothing set up at the third. And we'll see how much damage we can get done. Going straight for the cannon, actually. Okay. Bold move by Reynor. Takes down the cannon. Going for the stalkers. Reynor just going for the head-on trade here. And he will, yeah, not be able to break through. Gets a couple of stalkers, but these are expensive trades for Reynor. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, they are expensive trades. Behind this, he's not doubling down. He is going for a switch from Muta into Ling Hydra, but I don't think the mutas were quite worth it here. Looking at the trades, that was 7 mutas for 4 stalkers and for 5 probes. Like, mutas are quite expensive here. And here comes the actual army for Reynor going for the 4th. Now, we discussed this earlier. The 4th base is very open. It's very open. It's very accessible. And Reynor, with that, I don't know if Gerald can really hold against this. He's trying to fully wall up. Storm is ready. We'll see if Storm's going to be enough to save the 4th. Storm does crazy army, second Storm as well. Nice spread here by Reynor. Breaks through the main army, no more Storms. Yeah, no more High Templar. And with that, he's pushing in towards the mineral lines. There are some Stalkers left over, but Ling Hydra's ideal against Stalker. Waiting to crash in. They shut down the Zealots. And with that, there's no saving the 4th. Yeah, there's no saving the 4th base. Oh, I say that we're running out of Hydras. Okay. Reinforcements are on the way. Yeah, we're barely running out of Hydras, but now here come the Lings. And Reynor can keep pushing. At the same time, we do have mutas here at the 5th. 24 probes going to be going down. Critical damage. And as you mentioned, like, this is the big issue here with the Old Republic, is how open this 4th base expansion is, how difficult it is to defend. I've yet to see a successful defense in the 4th. I'll be honest. I've yet to see 30 probe kills. 30 workers go down. I mean, Gerald, he's surviving. He's trying at least. Let's hold G on. 5th base goes down. That was a kill. Carriers have arrived. And Reynor, he does sort of step underset carrier. Ooh, no detection though. Okay. No detection. Going for the mothership. Ooh, as the carrier barely goes down. Mothership as well. And Reynor, he has done it. And we are initially starting with a very strong performance here by Basilisk with a clean sweep, as Gerald, he has no army remaining. Pulls away the probes. Oh, we got some cannons, we got some shield batteries, we got a warp in, we got We got some hopium back. Some hopium. Let's go. And with NG overcharge, looks like there's one storm, so it'll be two. So we're down to 2 storms. That's the first one. We have one more that's almost ready. Un poquito más. The Banes, they crash in. They do crash in. They head for the mineral line. Don't quite make it through. But at this point, Reynor, he can just A-move. GG gets pulled, and Reynor, he will take the series, and he will close it out for his team. 4-0. GG. GG. Whew. GG, well played. With that, a very, very strong showing here by BASILISK. As I mentioned before in the lead up to this, Nightmare had the best chance, the best opportunity to be able to start a comeback. But alas, he wasn't quite able to pull that off. Winding it back here, let's head on over to the overall scores to see how the overall series did pan out. Now, I think some people were asking in the chat as to the overall bracket. As you can see here, BASILISK, they take the series 4-0 over Streamerzone. It all began with Serral. Serral was able to take down Jumy on Mothership. Jumy did attempt a 2-base all-in, and Serral was playing it safe. He did confirm the all-in, and Serral shut it down. We then had Trigger versus Nightmare. That was an intense PvP on Dream and Scars. And we did have Nightmare going for his own aggressive build. He went for a 7-gate setup on 3 bases, but he got hit by a stasis trap. His main army got caught by the stasis. He was forsaken in just a really rough fight in the center of the map, and Trigger bought enough time for his shield batteries and for his immortals. Trigger held on. Then we had the 2v2. The 2v2 was a lot of fun. We had Trigger kind of hurting himself, kind of doing what he could to slow down the opposing team, while Serral had a very comfortable time in that 2v2. So he was very comfortable, I should say, and Serral was able to just snowball out of control and break through the defensive line of SOS and Nightmare. Very clutch timing with the Vipers, and then of course it ended with Reynor and Gerald on the Old Republic. Gerald attempting to be hyper defensive on the Old Republic, but as we mentioned on this map, the 4th base locations are very open, they're very exposed. It is very difficult to turtle on 4 bases on the Old Republic, and Reynor did show that off once again. Again, we've seen many a player attempt and struggle to turtle on the Old Republic. GG. GG, well played. With that clean sweep, 4-0 for BASILISK. GG. Just catching up in the chat. But yes, for those that are unaware, this is an invitational. This is a big invitational that Chijik has sponsored, that is being run by Crank. This is a replay cast, bearing in mind that these events did occur less than 24 hours ago. This cannot be streamed live on Twitch. That is of course a prerequisite from the sponsor. It can only be streamed live on Chijik instead. So we are covering this via replays 20 hours after the fact, if not 18 hours. But GG well played. BASILISK, they do claim the series, but this is not the only match in the preliminary stage. Bearing in mind, this was a 6-team invitational. BASILISK, Streamerzone, Team Liquid, Shopify, Team Vitality, and Team Falcons. 6 teams were invited to play in this tournament, and in the initial stage, the preliminary stage, this is a seeding match. The winners, BASILISK in this case, they advance on to the playoffs. They advance on straight into the playoffs. The loser, Streamerzone, they get knocked down to the group stage. So Streamerzone, they'll have another chance tomorrow to face off in said group stage, to have a chance to make it into the playoffs. So best of luck to Streamerzone as they get knocked down to the group stage. BASILISK, they get a day off. They get a day off as this is a week-long event. A lot of StarCraft, a lot of Team League. Let's go. Let us go. Up next, we do have our next set of teams. It is going to be Team Liquid versus Shopify Rebellion. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Bam. As you can see here, we have our lineups. Up next is going to be Team Liquid versus Shopify. It's going to be Clem versus Lambo in a TVZ. We have Cure versus Bjorn in a TVT. We have Cure and Skillus joining forces. I'm a little bit surprised that Cure is going to be teaming up with Skillus and not Clem. Clem, he is one of the best 2v2 players in the world. So for Clem not to join Nikita, that's kind of weird. I'll be honest. I have a little bit less faith in Cure, just because Cure has less experience in 2v2. But maybe Clem isn't available, right? Maybe he's not available. Maybe he doesn't have the entire night free. I would have to assume that's the case, because I feel like why would you not use Clem in 2v2 when he is literally one of the best 2v2 players in the world? But we do have that 2v2 matchup that's going to be up against Harambo, Harstem, and Lambo facing off in that 2v2, and then we have Skilless versus Harstem in the 4th match. Oh boy. For now, we're going to be going on a very short break. When we come back, we will have that best of 5. We'll have Team Liquid versus Shopify. See you soon after the break. See you soon. Bye. See you soon.